Hi guys, welcome back to ARTV, your guide to current events within the aesthetic industry. I'm your host, Vivian Ichendu, the vendor relations specialist here at Aesthetic Record. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5, where I am so excited to introduce today's guest speaker, Jeff Snider, Accuvein's Director of Sales for non-acute markets. For the past 5 years, he has led the award-winning and #1 most used vein visualization device into the forefront of the aesthetic market. Jeff, thank you so much for joining. Tell us about you, your interest in medical devices, and how you became the Director of Sales at Accuvein.
But I grew up in the medical business. Both my grandfather and my father had medical companies. So from the age of, I don't remember when, 7 or 8, I knew medical terminology, and I knew that how medical devices were sold to large hospital systems and also individual physicians. So I learned the terminology, and then as I got older, I had part-time summer jobs at my dad's company where I would do different tasks, collect some of the tasks that no one else wanted, collecting money from medical distributors. But I grew up loving the medical business. I was always fascinated by how medical technology could help patients and people around the world. And it's a love that has taken me to this point. I took a break from the medical business though for a few years. And then when I was coming back into it and restarting, I saw the Accuvein. I saw this figure. This is an Accuvein, and I saw it on one of my friend's LinkedIn pages.
Was that one of the very first ones?
Not one of the very first ones, but he was, before me, and I asked him, "What is that magical device on your LinkedIn profile?" I felt this is love at first sight for me. So I became the representative, the independent representative for Florida. And because of my love, if you love something a lot, it helps you sell. So I sold more Accuveins than anyone else had ever done in the non-acute space market. So
Wow.
Physicians and clinics, med spas, every kind of a market that you're involved with at the Aesthetic Record. So that led me to the position of National Sales Manager. Now I'm Director of Sales for non-acute markets. And now I have a team of independent reps across the country. And it's made us who we are today, I think, in this market.
Accuvein is a leader in vein visualization technology. Its vein viewing system is the world's first handheld, non-contact vein illumination solution. So Jeff, can you explain what exactly is vein visualization and what's the technology behind it?
The technology behind vein visualization and what it really is the ability to use technology to see beneath the skin. As a matter of fact, in the case of our market leading, we have 90% of the world's market with the Accuvein of all vein visualization, of the entire vein visualization market. But it allows the practitioner to see up to 10 millimeters beneath the skin, to see the vasculature that's below both veins and arteries. And there's a lot of technology inside of this device that we've won many, many awards for. But to make it real simple, we've knocked any potential competitor out of the business. That's why we enjoy such a large market share. That's why 5,000 hospitals across the world use the Accuveins in their facilities, and many of the top injectors in the U.S. are using Accuveins in their cosmetic procedures and their practices.
Can you take us through more of the science behind vein visualization?
The science behind vein visualization is it's a very complicated technology that at the core of it involves augmented reality, which augmented reality, I wrote down a simplified definition, is technology that connects the physical world with the digital world. So the Accuvein sees using an infrared laser and also a visible green laser. It uses two lasers to see up to 10 millimeters beneath the skin. It sees all the vasculature. It's real time. So if a practitioner was using this for cosmetic injections, for instance, and they were injecting a patient's face and they nick a vein inadvertently, they would see blood pooling right there, right away, and they could stop the procedure to address that potential hematoma before it became bigger. So the technology, it's seeing the hemoglobin in the blood, which is bouncing back to the components inside the Accuvein. It's being processed using augmented reality. There's a mirror that's spinning thousands of times per second, but in the end, the result is you're seeing a very, very precise representation of what the blood vessels are looking like on the surface of the patient's skin. It's actually accurate to within the width of a human hair is how precise the Accuvein's picture is, and real time. So that's why it's used by so many facilities.
When did you realize that Accuvein could be very useful in the aesthetic space?
So a lot of practitioners love the Accuvein for blood draws for PRP, platelet-rich plasma procedures that so many practitioners are doing, the vampire lifts, the O shots, the P shots, and also for leg veins. So for sclerotherapy, when a patient has visible veins that they don't want anymore on their legs, for instance, the Accuvein helps the practitioner do a better procedure by seeing the deeper veins that are leading up and feeding that visible spider vein. That most people know them as spider veins. So it's a better procedure if they can treat the feeder veins too. That way the spider veins won't come back. So several procedures that practitioners are using. I even know a couple of plastic surgeons that are reattaching facial flaps for full plastic surgery using the Accuvein to make sure the blood vessels are attached. So there's always a new application being discovered.
Being that vein visualization is becoming the standard of care in medicine, how do aesthetic providers benefit from the technology, and what are some procedures that are used with Accuvein?
It's really taken off and is becoming almost the standard of care in a lot of markets for cosmetic injections. A lot of patients, after having the Accuvein used on them, will request it during their next round of injectables. They won't know what to call it. They'll say, could you use that bruise thingamajiggy? They'll nickname it. And in some markets, they will ask for the Accuvein by name. In like the Los Angeles area, Southern California, and in the Northeast and New York area, patients will actually go into a practice. Obviously, everyone's on lockdown now, but later on, they'll be going back into practice going, do you have the Accuvein? Because they don't want to be bruised. And they've experienced the reduction in bruising rates. Most of our customers report that they've reduced their bruising, especially around the eye, the periorbital area, by 80 to 90% using the Accuvein, which is huge. And so I would say the number one application for aesthetic record customers and people watching this is going to be cosmetic injections. And then after that, for difficult stick blood draws, to draw blood to spin down for platelet-rich plasma, for the other group of procedures that they use PRP for. And then, you know, sometimes people are not doing leg procedures anymore, leg vein procedures, but if people are, practitioners are, there's nothing better, not only to do the procedure, but for the consultation when the patient comes in with some spider veins and goes, what can you do for these? Practitioners end up pulling out their Accuvein and showing them on their leg not only the visible spider veins, the little spider veins, but the bigger, thicker feeder veins. And the patient goes, oh my gosh, where did that big ugly vein come from? please sign me up for the procedure. So it's a very good consultation tool.
What are some special considerations to keep in mind for each patient when using Accuvein on facial vasculature? Is it race? Is it BMI? Do you have to think about the gender? Is it different from male to female? Can you tell us more?
So the Accuvein is meant to perform with any patient type in any lighting environment, in bright light, in lower light, and it's not affected by patient movement. And the Accuvein works equally well with men and women. It maybe works better with women in the fact that it doesn't see through hair. So hair, facial hair, creates a shadow. So if a practitioner was using the Accuvein with a man who had a beard, the beard would either have to be shaved or wet down so that no shadow was created by the hairs. And it doesn't see through tattoos. But aside from hair and tattoos, it sees through anything, even a high BMI or any kind of a facial structure. You'll be able to see the blood vessels, and you can verify you're looking at a blood vessel by doing what we call the wipe technique, where you wipe down across the blood vessel and you can watch that blood vessel refill live with blood. And that way you've just verified that you're looking at a blood vessel and not something else. But I always have practitioners who are so surprised when they try the Accuvein, that when they try it on a patient or someone else in their office, they go, I would have thought that blood vessel was right in that spot, and it's not, it's over there. It's surprising, and it's surprising a lot of practitioners when they go to cadaver labs and where they see where different patients' blood vessels are. They're always in sometimes different spots than they expected them to be. And that's what the Accuvein is great for, is just taking 30 seconds to scan the patient's face and verify the location of the blood vessels.
It sounds like a very useful tool. What are some unique ways that Accuvein has helped branding with practices?
Regarding a marketing tool, it's the best marketing that you can do for your cosmetic injectables practice. It helps brand the practice. Everyone's looking for branding today. And the Accuvein becomes part of your branding because patients will nickname the device. So I know one practice where they call it the doctor's medical stud finder. Another practice where they call the Accuvein the name of their favorite nurse that works in the practice, Leslie. So patients will then say, could you use Leslie on me today when you do my Botox, when you give me Botox, or my neurotoxin? And so that branding becomes something you can put on Instagram, and the practitioner can make an Instagram video, go meet our newest member of our team, our Bruce Thingamajiggy, ask for it next time you come in for your cosmetic injections. And that becomes your branding. Like, you got to go, and then it ends up adding to referrals too. You got to go see that med spa down the street. They've got this Bruce Thingamajiggy. I don't know, they called it Leslie or something, and they don't bruise you. So that is what the word of mouth marketing is, which is, I think, the best marketing in aesthetics. It's a lot of fun having the Accuvein be branded and help with branding in the practice. A lot of practices, when they get their Accuvein, they have a contest with their patients to name their new Accuvein. And that is a lot of fun for a practice. And we've had lots of crazy names, but there's the doctor that gave me the original idea for that named his the anti-bruising laser. So patients love calling things by a name, and anytime you can add fun to your practice, I think, for the patient and make them want to be there and have a good time while they're sitting in the injectable chair, it's a good thing. And I know from meeting a lot of customers and users of the aesthetic record system, a lot of people are very fun-loving. So it's a great device that goes hand in hand with all the procedures we talked about.
Can you show us just how easy it is to use Accuvein?
It's really easy. There's one main button on the side. That's a purple button. that is pushed to turn the lasers on or to turn the lasers off. And then after that, the most important thing really day in and day out, patient, for each patient, is to hold the Accuvein about 6 to 10 inches away from the patient's skin. That's the sweet spot distance. You can hold it further away or closer, but 6 to 10 inches really will produce the crispest, best image. And then it's just moving the Accuvein around till you'll see the best image of those blood vessels you're trying to avoid. And that's it.
And for those of us that aren't as tech savvy, it seems like a very easy and simple tool to master.
It's very easy to learn how to use the Accuvein. Once you have purchased or leased your Accuvein, we will send you some really simple little videos to get it started, to charge it up, and to start doing your first patient really the very next day. We have lots of videos to support the use of the Accuvein. It's made in the USA, by the way, and it comes with an instruction manual. Not that you have to use that, but it does come with an instruction manual in English because it's made in Minnesota, and all of our service is in the USA too. So we're a USA-based company, and if I can use it, anyone can use it. I was using it within a few minutes, and you will be too.
What does maintenance look like for owning an Accuvein device? Are there a lot of manual calibration? Is there a lot of servicing needed?
The lasers inside are permanently calibrated and aligned. They'll never come out of alignment. And hopefully the only maintenance you'll have to do once in a while, there'll be a speck of dust that gets on the lens underneath, and you just would use an alcohol wipe that you have in your practice now and just wipe the lens clean of the dust, and that's it. It's hospital grade equipment, so it is it's constructed. Actually, the new warranty we have covers drops and spills as well as any kind of possible issue, but you'll probably have very few issues with it, even if you spilled something on it or drop it. It's constructed to be very robust because it's used in lots and lots of hospitals, and they're not as gentle as maybe some of the aesthetic practitioners are with their equipment.
Accuvein has received a number of accolades and recognition from the healthcare sector. I think it's safe to say that you deserve quite a bit of bragging rights. Can you share with us some of the awards that have been earned?
Yeah, we've earned a lot of awards for the design of the Accuvein, and that's what originally attracted me to the device. It's just a beautiful profile. If you've ever held an Accuvein at one of the shows that we may have met at, it's beautifully contoured to fit in your hand, and it weighs less than 10 ounces. We've won the Red Herring Award, just a lot of awards for the design, because it is it's still, even though the design has been around for now 12 years, this is the third generation model, by the way, but it's been around for 12 years, and many of the awards were several years ago, but it's still fresh looking, and patients love it when you use it. So aside from boring you with all the specific awards for the design and the Medical Excellence Technology Awards, we just are very humble. We're just happy that so many practitioners and hospitals and other facilities across the world, really. We have Accuveins are sold in 130 countries across the world. So we're proud to be where we are.
Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day, Jeff, to share with our users information about Accuvein. I found it very interesting how practices use Accuvein in their branding by renaming it.
It's a lot of fun having the Accuvein be branded and help with branding in the practice. A lot of practices, when they get their Accuvein, they have a contest with their patients to name their new Accuvein. And that is a lot of fun for a practice, And we've had lots of crazy names, but there's the doctor that gave me the original idea for that named his the anti-bruising laser. So patients love calling things by a name, and anytime you can add fun to your practice, I think, for the patient and make them want to be there and have a good time while they're sitting in the injectable chair, it's a good thing. And I know from meeting a lot of customers and users of the aesthetic record system, a lot of people are very fun-loving. So it's a great device that goes hand in hand with all the procedures we talked about.
And that's a wrap for episode 5 of ARTV. If you're an aesthetic record user, make sure to log into market.aestheticrecord.com where you can learn more about Accuvein. If you're not an aesthetic record user but wish to join the AR family, visit aestheticrecord.com where our team is eager to chat with you. If you're a small business doing big things and would like to be featured on our next episode, email me down below. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy.